everybody, and welcome to the most wonderful knitting podcast episode of the year. This is everything I need in 2025. I'm surrounded by two mountains of knitted garments. I don't know how many they are, but at the end I will count and I will put it on the screen. I'm not going too much into details. Most of the projects are on my Ravelry, and if I've done modifications, I wrote in my Ravelry with a few exceptions. So let's start it. First of all, welcome back. If this is your first time here, I'm very happy that you found this channel. My name is Maria. I am very soon 44 years old and I am coming from Norway, but I am a Romanian knitter. So I need all my frustrations in my garments, all my dreams in my garments, all my plans are here. This is my therapy 2025 year. I won't go through the project chronologically because it takes too much energy and I don't think it's important to speak about them this way. So I have a huge amount of sweaters and I have a huge amount of cardigans. I don't talk about accessories because generally I don't need accessories. I don't have except two summer garments, let's say, because I'm not into the summer knitting. So if you need, I don't know, need new ideas about projects, you are very welcome to see this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this is what you want to do. Now let's start with the elephant in the room. Well, there are many elephants, but the one I'm wearing is one of my last projects of the year. It is a not planned at all project. I never thought I will do something like this. I would like something like this, but here I am. So, believe it or not, if you are familiar with petite knits patterns, this is the Maggie cardigan, my version. Okay, so this is a very long cardigan. I will try to stand up, but I will also insert pictures. I was influenced about because of the weather to cast on this cardigan. We had minus degrees like almost 2 weeks, and at my work it was very cold for a few days in a row because there was a problem with the heating system. And I had this yarn in my stash and I thought it's time to make something with this yarn. The yarn I've used, it is from Isayer and it's called, I'm checking the microphone, it's called Isayer Aran Tweed. It comes in 100 gram hanks and it has 200 meters and it's yarn that you can work with 4.5 or more, like 5.5 millimeter. For my project, I've used 5 millimeter needles. Now, when I'm saying this is a kind of Maggie cardigan, is that because I've used construction and almost the numbers from the Maggie cardigan. I didn't swatch for this project because I wanted something like this to feel warm and cozy and to have a very long cardigan. And I've decided to make size 1. Now I wrote everything in my Ravelry, the steps I've done Um, I still have to mention that I end up with the number of stitches for the body for size 1 exactly how the pattern explained. Now, I had 700 grams in my stash of yarn, and I had to buy 300 grams more. There are a lot of modifications that I won't go into it now, so please check the Ravelry notes. Um, I'm happy with this cardigan. However, I've decided to not use this yarn in the future. The only reason for my decision is that I cannot figure out what is the perfect project and stitch pattern for this type of yarn. This yarn is growing enormously. And yeah, this is the only reason. Otherwise, I like this yarn. I really like it's a beautiful yarn, but it's just I've done 3 projects this year with this yarn, and I think it's time to take a break from it and to try to figure out a different one that will hold up much better, that it won't grow in a garment that much as this yarn is doing. Now, I've made pockets for this cardigan because I wanted pockets. I'm not putting something in the pockets a part of my hands. I'm very happy with it. It could have turned out even better if I would have known exactly what I am doing. But I just had this idea of making something comfortable and not quite following a pattern step by step, but at the same time to have some guidance. So I didn't have the patience to search for another pattern that maybe would have give me a different result. However, I'm very happy with it. And that's it about this garment. Next, it's also a more recent finished object, and this is the Pitted Whiskey Cardigan by Thea Coleman. I like very much Thea Coleman patterns. They are not comfortable as other patterns. They are not quite holding your hand throughout the process, but at the same time, you don't feel lost with the patterns. I mean, I don't feel lost working one of her patterns. She's quite often has bottom up, yeah, patterns. So if you are not comfortable with it, I would say to give it a try. You will be amazed how wonderful it is to make a bottom-up project. Now, this is a little bit different than the original, just because I did not have enough yarn to make this pattern according to the instructions. So the yarn I've used, it is a hand-dyed wool from Denmark, and I had 4 hanks, like 400 grams. One hank had like 275 meters. Although technically it's heavy decay, it behaves more like an Aran worsted weight yarn, which was very interesting. By the time I finished the body and started the first sleeve, I realized I don't have enough yarn. And of course, my first choice was to contact the seller, but they couldn't help me because the plan for them is to dye the same color and the base starting the next spring. And I didn't want to have this project on my needles for months and months because I didn't had enough yarn to finish it according to the pattern. At the same time, I was not willing to unravel this because it was a lot of work. This is a cable motif cardigan. It has this more complex panel cable here on the front and more simples on the back, and on each side there is like a two-stitch honeycomb motif. Now, of course, I've made a lot of modifications like this double knitted bottom band, and neckline is different, and of course the sleeves. Originally you have um, like these cables also on the sleeves, but when I realized I will run out of yarn, I had to take some decisions, and I didn't want to complicate my life making um, the chart from the pattern for the sleeves. So I decided that I will do the two-stitch honeycomb motif also on the sleeve that will match the sides of the cardigan. And I have to say that I'm I'm not happy with this project. I mean, this is not practical. I tried to wear this on top of a long linen sleeve dress, but it's not looking good. Of course, it will look better on a shortless linen sleeve, but this is not a summer garment, that's for sure. So yeah, mixed feelings. It's not quite a cardigan, short sleeve cardigan. It's not quite a vest. It's something that I have to accept. So lesson learned: unless I have enough yarn to make something I thought from the beginning, I won't start the project, because it's very stressful to not be able to complete something that you envision. Yeah, other than that, the pattern, it is absolutely wonderful. It's not a mindless pattern. This section here, it is quite intense. It's not a chart that you can memorize, so you have to follow row by row this part. Also, the beginning, it's a little bit, I wouldn't say confusing, but you have to pay attention, because this hem is a mix of 2 by 2 ribbing, 1 by 1 ribbing. So it's not just one of them, it's both in the same hem. So I would say the hem and at least half of the chart you need to work before you can visualize the motif and follow it much easier. Yeah, I don't think for me it was not a hard project, but I guess if you are a beginner and never done anything of this, it can be very um, yeah, difficult. But I'm happy with this project. I mean, I'm happy, but at the same time, um, I I am regretting not having the long sleeves, because this was the plan. I mean, overall the cardigan is looking very good with the long sleeves, but yeah, there is nothing I can do about it. I still have to put buttons. Oh, and one thing I didn't like about this yarn, and yeah, it's still smelling after I washed the cardigan. It's just like the smell of the chemicals or something they use to dye the wool just pop up, and the smell was absolutely awful, and it still smells. But it's interesting that it starts to smell after washing. So I don't know what type of dyes they are using, but yeah, That's that. However, um, I'm not willing to buy hand dye yarn in the future anymore. So yeah. Okay, the next project I will show you, it is um, one of those that I consider a fail. And it's not because of the pattern, it's because my choice of yarn. So this is the Windermere by Coco Amour Knitwear. This is a half fisherman top-down raglan sweater. It is a wonderful pattern. I totally recommend it. The problem is that I've used two strands of lace wool together. This is a wool that you buy at a con. They sell it in a store in Bergen, but it's from UK, but I don't know exactly what type of wool is this. However, what I don't like, and I won't wear this sweater anymore, is that even after washing, the feeling of the sweater is like you have paperboard on your body, or paper in general. It's it's losing the shape, but at the same time does not have a drape as a sweater with this texture should have. So overall, it's very, very unpleasant to wear this type of wool. I thought to wash it again and to see if after the second wash something is changing, because normally this type of yarn has a lot of spinning oil and it should soften, or it should have a little bit a more proper drape after washing that spinning oil, but this one does not have after that. So I will try to wash it again, and if this is not changing, I will donate this, because it's not what I expected, and it's not what I like, and it's not even the itchiness problem, because this is not a problem for me. So it's the feeling of the sweater, like you just have a paper board, or how do you say, paper sweater, not a wool sweater. It's very strange, and because of my limited English, I find it very difficult to explain the feeling and me, why I am rejecting this garment. Other than that, the pattern, it is wonderful, and maybe one day I will make it again in a much smarter yarn choice. I want you to know, if you are new here, that I never gauge swatch for the sweaters, and I didn't gauge swatch for this one too. However, I've made a size 2, and I think I've used 4.5 millimeter needles. Um, yeah, it is a wonderful pattern, and the stitch is so easy to work. And this is the first pattern I am working from this designer, and I found her writing very easy to follow, and not too less information, not too much information. So I think there was a very good balance in her writing pattern style, which I think it makes it easier for the ones that have more experience, but also for the ones with not that much experience. Yeah, so Windermere sweater by Coco Amour Knitwear, and let's see if I will um, be able to wear this after another wash. Also, I have to mention that this color, I don't think it's my color at all. I find this beige very strange, and yeah, I'm not sure this is what I should wear in terms of shades or colors. Okay, we are at the project number 4 of this Everything I Need in 2025. And this is something I've made, I think, at the beginning of the year. And this is photo number 4, I think. Let me just check on my Ravelry, because this is a collection of from this designer, and I'm not sure. Number 2. This is photo number 2 sweater. This is a design by Augustin Decay, and it is made for the Norwegian young producer Hillesvåg. And I've made, I don't remember what size I've made, 1 or 2. Let's see. So I've made size 2. And I've used 2 strands together. One strand of Hillesvåg Luna, which is lamb's wool. It's an Aran worsted braid. And one strand of Isager alpaca one. And this one, it is lace thread. And believe it or not, this is one of my less worn sweaters. I like the look of the sweater in general, but I don't like the look of the sweater on my body. I feel it just puts more accent on my insecurities related with my body. So I'm not wearing this as much as I would like. Also, I have to say, this is extremely heavy. The sleeves are very wide, and it's not my personal preference. However, I think I would have enjoyed more these wide sleeves if the sweater would have been lighter. So this is having, I think, like almost 800 grams, but being a cropped one, because it's cropped, it feels heavier because there is a lot of heaviness in a small piece, let's say. So yeah, it's also not, it's not a difficult project, but it's a little bit unusual because you are starting with a bag, but you are starting from here down at this section of 1x1 ribbing, and you are starting with a Judy Magic Cast On, I think it's called. I always forget the name of this method. So I think this is totally not wrong. I think it's not necessary to use this method if you are not comfortable. I think it's much easier to use provisional cast on, because the result is absolutely the same. So if I would do this again, I will definitely use the provisional cast on. Now, another thing I don't like about this sweater is that this grew a lot in width, and it's because of the yarn. So already the alpaca lace from Isager, it tends to grow anyway. And I noticed that this Luna from Hillesvåg also, it's growing with wearing. So I don't think the 5 or 5.5 millimeter needles, it's what this yarn needs in order to keep the shape in the garment. So if I will use this yarn again, I think I will use it, I will work it with a smaller needle. And yes, I used 6 millimeter needle. So yeah, I think when you use this number of needles, you definitely need much sturdier yarn, not a yarn that tends to grow not only with washing, but especially with wearing. Now, I didn't wash this again, so it will be interesting to see if this is um, keeping the actual measurements or if it will return to what it was initially. I don't know, but um, how I feel this, I feel that it won't, it will stay like this. And another thing, so I I just love this combo between the cable sections and the one by one ribbing sections. But I have to say that um, this one by one ribbing section is even more stretched because of the weight of all these cable sections that you have on the body and on the sleeves. And I think this is another reason why you need a more sturdier and different yarn. So this part here to not grow, um, to not pull as much as it does now. I don't know if this makes sense. Overall, this is a wonderful pattern if you don't have the same insecurities regarding your body as I have. So my back is not straight anymore, and I have a big circumference bust. So sometimes some um, shapes of some sweaters or cardigan are um, um, emphasizing um, my insecurities and my problems and make me look very round and big at the back. And yeah, it's this is the only reason, you know. So I am thinking already to gift this to a person in my life, and I know she will be very excited to wear this. Yeah, let's see another one. I will try to put them here because there are so many. Okay, let's talk about a cardigan. This is a cardigan I've made over the summer, and it is a self-drafted cardigan. So unfortunately, I cannot guide you through a pattern or toward a pattern because there is no pattern. Maybe there will be. I'm hoping. So this is a top-down construction. You start at the back, fronts, join the fronts and the back, and continue to work back and forth the body. Um, the sleeve is top down, work in the round, and it has a lot of double knitting details on the neckline. The neckline is in double knitting, and of course the bottom bands. I love this cardigan. I love this color. I love to wear it. This is made with 3.5 millimeter needles, and the yarn I've used, it is from Hillesvåg, and it is called Ask. Now this is peeling, but at the same time this yarn feels very sticky. I mean, even when you touch it you can feel it. I mean, it's fluffy, but not fluffy in terms of hairy. It's puffy, I would say. And it's peeling, but I never depeel this, so maybe I will do it. Yeah, I like this cardigan. It's very warm, and I would love to make another one, but change a little bit of things, because for example, for this one I've made short rows on the sleeves, and they were really hard work to do, and at the end just to realize that they were totally unnecessary to do it. So yeah, it was a lot of work for nothing, but anyway, it was an experience. I'm proud of this. I love to wear this. I love the color. I love that it's 100% wool. Um, it's amazing how this didn't grow with wearing, which I was kind of expecting because I've made it very close to my body. I mean, I would dare to say that has zero negative ease, if not, I would say 1-2 centimeters of. Um, no, I didn't explain this. It has maybe 1-2 centimeters negative ease, if not zero positive ease. So yeah, I would love to give it a chance again to this garment, to make another version, and maybe um, next year I will be able to have this cardigan as a knitting pattern, so you can work it too if you want. This project is not on my Ravelry, but who knows, maybe if becomes a pattern, it will be. Let's talk next about a new cardigan. So far I talked about 2, 4, 5 projects. And now this was one of the most complex project I've done this year. Just because it was very difficult to find a yarn that would allow me to have the finished product that I envision. Now, this is the Milk Stout cardigan by, again, Thea Coleman. As I've said, I really like this designer, and I'm willing to explore more on her projects because she has wonderful, wonderful knitting patterns. And not only that, she has a more old style knitting school methods in terms of construction of the garments. So it feels like you are always learning something with her patterns, and these are very useful information that you can use another time to make adjustments according to your preference and your measurements and your body. So as I've said, Milk Stout cardigan, and for this one I think I've made size 2 or 3. Let's see. Just 1 second. Where are you? Where are you? Okay, so I've made size 3. Long, short story, long, no, how do you say long, short story version, or do you say short, long story version? Doesn't matter. I initially started to make this in a different yarn, but then I realized I've choose not only the wrong size, I was doing size 6. Because of me not gauge swatching with all my projects, I had to give a lot of thought to the yarn I would like to use for this project, because the recommended yarn is not something I can buy here in Norway, and I couldn't afford to buy it from, I think, Canada, I'm not sure. Anyway, that yarn that she's recommending in the pattern, it is a yarn that has 0 stretch. So it was very difficult to make an idea of what I would like to make, what yarn I would like to use. So in the end, I decided to go with Fivel from Rauma, the Norwegian wool producer or yarn producer. So Fivel, it is an Aran worsted weight, and I knew how it behaves with wearing and washing, and I knew it will grow. And I thought I will go with this. I've made size 3, and I apologize for not being able to remember that I need to take notes about the modifications I've made, because I would love to make this another time, and I think I will go through the same stress to figure out what to do. The modifications that I've made means that I've made decreases on the front, but also on the back side because this is back and forth work. And it's something actually that the designer recommends, but it doesn't says in the pattern, doesn't say when to decrease on the back or how many times to do this on the back. So I had to kind of improvise and figure out as I went with the project. However, it turned out exactly what I thought. The fit is wonderful. Another modification I've made is to not make the folded collar and the bottom bands. These were made in the original pattern in garter stitch, but I knew that this yarn um, and with the tendency of going with wearing, especially that collar and bottom band in garter stitch would not have last long. And I really didn't want to go back after a while to unravel and to redo. So I thought I will do it like this. And I'm happy to say that the designer was very happy to see the final result. And she said that she liked my version very, very much. I love the combination again. I think this is a wonderful combination in between one by one ribbing and cables, but I like this one more than here because here all the pressure is put on the one by one ribbing, but here you actually have these cable panels that will give strength to um, the the texture in general. So this way, this one by one ribbing sleeves and sides, it's not losing the shape, and I think this is genius. It features these cables on the front and on the back, and the rest of it is just one by one ribbing. And of course I've made the how do you say, the oh god, double knitted, yeah, bottom band. And yeah, I love this project. It was so interesting to work. And yeah, once I figure out what I need to change and how to, it was just absolutely enjoyable. Okay, project number. So this was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Project number 7. It is again a self-drafted. And it is a wonderful raglan top-down sweater that I've done for my sleeveless dresses. This is inspired by another sweater that I will show you later. I mean, this part of the neckline, and I love this so much. This is made with Isayer Highland wool. I think the color is stone, so one strand Isayer Highland wool. It is actually a fingering wool. So, and 3 millimeter needles for the main body and sleeves, and I've used 2.5 for cuffs and hem and neckline. I love this. I love this so much. I like to wear this with a hem inside. So it's quite cropped. It's short, of course, and I love this. And this is definitely something I want to do again. I'm sorry for not being able to give you more info and details because I don't have that. The numbers are in my mind, but maybe, who knows, maybe I will write this down, at least this size. I'm not planning to or not dreaming to become a knitting designer. I thought a lot about it. But if I will be able to write my size, at least I will do it. If not, that's it. Next, I will show you another self draft. I've done this a lot this year, and it's something that I am so proud. So I self-drafted a cable sweater. It's a thick one for my linen dresses, and I love it. Again, I cannot point at you a knitting pattern. This is a top down drop shoulder, and it features this very simple small cable, and in between there are sections of pearl stitches and a twisted um, knitted stitch. And I think the texture is very, very beautiful. This yarn, it is heavy merino from Knitting for Olive, and it was actually my first time using this yarn, and I love it. It's something I would like to work um, more in the future. However, if you consider this yarn, you also have to take in consideration that this is a very dry yarn when you are working with. It changes a bit after washing, but it will always have this dry feeling. Um, so if this is not your jam, yeah, you have to consider this. I worn this a lot. This is the color camel, and this I think a month ago or two, I decided, okay, I will sit down and try to grade this to make it in more sizes, just to realize that in one of my madness cleaning, I think I throw away my notebook. I like to handwrite things, and I cannot find it. I only found the instructions for the sleeves. What on earth? I think I wrote in two notebooks. I don't even remember. So I've started another one, but this time I will make it bottom up. So wish me luck to be able to recreate this sweater in a much, much beautiful version, and for more sizes. And who knows, maybe you can make it too if you want, of course. You don't need to. Yeah, so this is another sweater that I really like, really, and it's very warm. I would say it's a little bit heavy that I like them lately, but it is what it is. Okay, and let me show you another cardigan. How many will we have? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 9. I don't even remember. So this is project number 9 of 2025. Well, this is not an order, but doesn't matter. You might hear my stomach. I hope not. This is one of my favorite of this year. This is the Combaki Gun cardigan by Drea Rene Knits, or Andrea Mori. I love this. I love everything about this cardigan. The color, the yarn, or my choice of yarn. This is a Roma Finu. I've made size 2. I've used needles 3.5. This is a bottom-up construction. The sleeves are worked in the round and the body back and forth, and I enjoyed every moment and step of this pattern. It's easy to follow. The stitch can be a little bit confusing at the beginning because you are starting with the sleeves and you are making the increases and you have to keep the motif, but once you figure out, it's enjoyable. Yeah, I love everything about this pattern. I have to say, this is a bold color. I feel I stick out when wearing this. I feel like everybody is giving me a second look. I don't know if in a good or bad way, or positive or negative way. I don't know. I hope positive because they are admiring the cardigan. But I love this, and I will make this again. because I love the fit that much and the texture. And actually, I have one on my needles that will be totally different, but I will talk about it in my next regular knitting podcast. I will give to this 5 out of 5. It's that beautiful, enjoyable. I love even the buttons I choose for this. And I'm wearing this a lot. And so far, you can say it's like new. It's like the first day I start to wear it, wear it. So yeah, it's a raglan. I love the way she explained each row of the raglan. That it was genius. I mean, if you are a beginner and you think, oh, I don't think I can do this, trust the pattern, trust the designer, trust the process, and you can do this too. Let me check if indeed I've made size 2 or I am wrong, but I think I've made size 2. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay. I just remember I have 2 garments that I don't have with me. Okay, so I've made, yeah, size 2. Yeah. Okay. This was project number 9, which I love it. I'm trying to not make this episode that long considering the amount of knitting I have here. Okay, let's do another cardigan. But let me remember the name of the pattern because I don't remember. Let's see. Okay, this is the Sibilla cardigan by Cookie the Knitter. And for this one, I've made size 2. Okay, this is the Sibilla cardigan. It's a cable top-down drop shoulder pattern. It features a lot of intricate, not difficult panels. And as I've said, I've made size 2. I've used, I think, 4.5 or 5. No, I think I've used 5 millimeter. No swatching. Yes, 5 millimeters. And I've used 600 grams of, again, Isager Aran tweed. When I've made this first time and started to wear it, this was more like 0 positives. Now it has positives at least 4 centimeters. That much grew. But also the fact that it's a cable texture didn't help me with the already tend to grow yarn. What I noticed this year is that when you make a cable project like sweater or cardigan, I've learned to make it at least 1 2 centimeter longer in the sleeves, in the body, because cables projects in time with wearing they grow in width. So this one I can say now it has a little bit shorter sleeves, not unwearable sleeves, but still this grew like this and shortened. I still love this project, but I can say already after wearing this a lot and a lot, that this yarn was not the proper yarn to use for this project. I love the color, I love the texture of the yarn, I love the feeling of the yarn, but I don't like how it behaves. And I guess if you don't wear your garment as much as I do, which is daily, I think you will be okay using this yarn. But if you are wearing this a lot, like I do, the life of the garment made with this yarn, unfortunately, won't be very, very long. I guess at some point this will yeah, need to be remade, I think. But we shall see. This is the first year I'm wearing this, so maybe, who knows, I will come back another time with a different feedback. Who knows? Um, it wasn't a difficult project, but at the same time, it was not easy. This intricate cable panels here, which it looks like a honeycomb, but it's not a honeycomb. Actually, it's not a honeycomb. It's more like cross cables. I don't even know the name. I'm sorry. Um, of course, modifications made. I've made a different neckline and a different bottom band, and yeah. But I do recommend the pattern. It's a very good pattern. I think this designer also in the meantime released the Sibila sweater. So I will visit her again, the designer, to check her projects because it was very nice and pleasant project to work. Yep. This was my 10th project of the year. Now I need to make space for the next ones. And I think I will talk about my 2 summer projects I've done this year. Now, the first one, it was a test knit for the Knitonomy, and it was a cable tee. But let me just remember the name of the pattern because I really don't remember. Okay, so this was the Bloomfield tee by Knitonomy or Magdalena Parker. I've made size 2. I've used 3.5, no, 3mm needles. And the yarn for this project was Isayed Marilyn, which is a blend of wool and linen and, yeah, different fibers. It is very beautiful. This yarn does not grow. I have to say, this yarn does not grow. This is a top-down, time-consuming project because it's a 3mm needles, and you actually need to cable every right side row, every second row. I don't remember exactly, but I think every second row. Yeah, I think you are making cables on every right side row, if I remember correctly. I ran out of yarn. There was a lot of saga with this tee. I was traveling to Romania when doing this test knit, and finally I managed to finish. I even got an extra skin to cut here and to do a little bit more length. Initially I said I won't do this, but I will do this because I wanted something without positive ease to wear on top of my sleeveless dresses, linen dresses. But this, I followed the length in the pattern, but when you do this negative ease actually circumference, you need to add length because part of the length, it's absolutely normal to be taken on your bust. So yeah, I need to add at least 5 centimeters in length and then the ribbing. But I hope one day just to remember to take this out and to cut into the hem and to, yeah, to work this again. But other than that, this is a wonderful, wonderful knitting pattern, as all Magdalena or Knitonomy patterns. And yeah, I've made the sleeve shorter. This is a very beautiful pattern, the yarn. I'm so happy with it. However, this is not the usual summer garment because of the yarn, but it can be a more wearable summer garment here for the Norwegian summers. So take in mind this. But yeah, definitely I even thought to make another one for next year, but we shall see. There is always so much to knit. And yeah, I've learned this year that I don't need to cast on every project out there. I really need to become more selective and to enjoy more the process, although I'm always expecting also for the finished project to look in a certain way because it's something I need to wear. I mean, I don't have um, other garments to wear a part of what I am hand knitting in terms of sweaters and cardigans, of course. Okay, my second and last summer project. It was this. Hold on, I forgot the name of the pattern. This is by Shetland Wool, and it's called Feyrag cardigan. Yeah, it's by Shetland Wool, or the designer of the cardigan name is Elizabeth Johnson. And this is in size 2. And for this one, I've used 4mm needles and I've used Isayer Eco Baby. Which is a blend of cotton and alpaca. And I have to say, I was so surprised that this yarn also is not growing from Isayer. So it's interesting how they have yarns that they grow a lot and yarns that they don't grow anything. Even when you need them to grow, they don't. It was a saga with this cardigan too. I won't get into details. I wrote all the modifications on my Ravelry. It is a wonderful pattern. You have instructions for 2 weight of yarns, fingering and decay. And if I remember correctly, I think the recommended yarn is something from Jamieson Smith, but I don't know if Jamieson and Son or Jamieson of Shetland, or I never can make a difference in between these two because I never use them. So that's why. Um, this is a bottom-up construction. Again, I love this. I love the feeling of this yarn. I love the final pattern. This is so cute. I've made a lot of modifications because the sleeves, they don't look like this. Actually, I've done the sleeves top down, but actually in the pattern, you need to work the sleeves bottom up if you use the motif, and top down, but it's different. It's not like mine own top down. Tons of modifications, I swear. The bottom bands, the neckline. I even made an I-cord because it was growing. I love it. It's wonderful over dress, and I am so tempted to make another one in the same yarn but in a different color, because as much as I like the look of this, I feel I stand out with this color, and I feel like everybody is looking at me, which is not the case. But in the back of my mind, it's the fact that I don't like to get too much attention, because then all my insecurities are going up. Yeah, it's a me thing. But I love this, and it was so wonderful to work. And the yarn, it's so soft. It feels silky soft. I mean, when touching, this is the feeling. It's silky, and it's wonderful. And coming from somebody that it's really not into the plant-based yarns or summer yarns, although this is a blend in of baby alpaca actually and cotton. It's not just alpaca, it's baby alpaca. So maybe this is the reason that it feels like the skin of a baby, really. I think the name is very uh, proper to the feeling of the yarn. Yeah, so this is the Fera cardigan. Still don't have buttons. I want to find, and I always forget, I want to buy some little pearls buttons. And I know I can find it, but I just forgot about it. Um, I love it. I love it. This is my project number 12 of the year. So far I talked about 12 of them. Okay, let's do the next one. It's another Knitonomy project. And this one, oh boy, it's something with chunky. I just don't remember the name. Okay, so this is the Fresno cardigan chunky. And this is the size 1. I took a risk with this one, but I've already had the experience of another cardigan, cable cardigan made with this yarn that I already took, the Sibilla cardigan. So I've made size 1 and I've used 5.5 millimeter needles, and I've used 700 grams of yarn. The yarn is Isaer Aran Tweed, and it's the color green. Again, it's a top down drop shoulder, and it features this chunky braid cable motif. Now looking back, I realized that I could have used a different yarn. Again, I could have made this a size up and use a less thick yarn. I could have done a lot of things, but it doesn't matter because the project is already finished and worn, and it's heavy. It's cropped and it's heavy and it's a little bit uncomfortable. I find these braids, I mean, it's not my favorite cable motif, let's say, this wide braid. But that doesn't mean it's wrong or it's not beautiful. It is. It's just, again, the feeling of the finished object is affected by my choice of yarn. So make sure you are choosing the right yarn for your projects, because I've done not such a good job this year. But anyway, this is an easy project, easy to follow, easy to work, big needles. I didn't find that it was difficult. Now I was thinking at the modifications. I've done a lot at the neckline. The bottom bands are made in what is called double knitting. And I've made decreases, which the pattern didn't have for the sleeves, because I couldn't make a fitted cardigan with very wide sleeves. I mean, if it was fitted, the sleeves also needed to look the same as the body. Yeah, I've made a lot of decreases. I explained this on my Ravelry, and I worn this quite a lot. I like it, but again, it's never my first choice. I mean, it's always something else I prefer to wear instead of this. I'm kind of a little bit scared that this will fall apart. I mean, the yarn will grow, and this will be wearable. But maybe I should wear this until it reached that point to be unwearable. Or maybe it will never be unwearable. Maybe it's just my feeling, but we shall see. I love the color. Again, I love the fit. I took the risk to make size 1, but I already knew that this yarn will grow. So it's the perfect size for me, um, considering that I wear this only with my linen dresses. So I don't wear this with jeans or even skirts because it's too cropped. Yeah, too cropped. But it's okay. I like it. I like it, but again, this yarn, I just need a break from it because it feels a little bit too much. And when doing a project with this type of yarn, worsted, it takes a lot of yarn, and the garment, no matter what, and this one too is a cropped one, but still has 700 grams. I mean, it's heavy. It's a lot. It's a lot in a small garment. I mean, the weight is not distributed on a large garment. So when, like this has 1 kilogram, but it doesn't feel heavy, because it's more, I don't know, proportional, if I can say so. But this one, it's not proportional. So yeah, it feels heavier when wearing this one I have on me. It's just crazy yeah, how how it feels. Okay, this was the project number 13 of the year. Let's keep this with, I think it's my last cardigan. Can you believe it? Of the year. I think the rest of the projects are just sweaters. So this is the project number 14, and this is the Billy cardigan by Sari Norlund. And for this one, I've used the Highland Wool Held Double. The color, I don't remember the name of the color, but I will, just let me 1 second check the Ravelry notes. Where are you, Billy Cardigan? Okay, so sky. It's the color sky. It's a blend of purple, lilac, pink. It's very beautiful. And I've made size 3. So this is a top-down raglan cable sweater cardigan. Um, it was a lot of work. It felt a lot of work. It felt that much work that I thought I will never make this pattern again. But now, looking at this one, I think, this will be interesting in a different yarn, a different color. Oh my lord, never say never. Please remind me never to say this in a future knitting podcast. When I'm saying I won't repeat this pattern again, please just grab my hand and say, you said this before. Yeah, I need to make something with this because it grew a lot at the neckline. So I plan to make an I-cord to cinch a little bit. I love this. I worn this a ton. It's looking almost like new. It has a little bit of peeling, but nothing crazy. I mean, it's just like this. But I never depeel this. Didn't need. I love it. I love it. It's a lot of work, but the result, it's so catchy, so visual, this cardigan. It's wonderful, wonderful, really wonderful. I don't remember if I've made modifications a part of the cuffs and hem and neckline and double and the bottom bands. Everything of this is made in double knitting. I wrote it in my Ravelry. I love this. I just, yeah, I'm proud of this project. This is the back. I worn this a ton, as I've said. I love how the yarn is holding up. I definitely believe that also the Highland wool is one of the most wonderful yarns I have ever knit, and I like how they look with wearing. So I already have three favorite from Isaiah. Actually, I have five, but maybe I will have time to talk about it. Yeah, this is my. I don't remember the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Project number 13 or 14. I think it's 14. Doesn't matter. So yeah, Billy Cardigan by Sari Nordlund. I do recommend you, if you have the patience to go through this, do it. The result is wonderful. Let's say the project number 14 of the year, it is the Dagmar sweater by Petite Knit, one of my favorite of this year, with a few exception. Okay, so this is size, let me check, it's a cropped version. I've used Roma Finul. No, I've used Roma Fivel. I'm sorry, Fivel. I've used the Fivel, which is the lamb's wool. It's a thick version of the fingering they have. Okay, Dagmar sweater. This is size 2. Yes, I've used 450 grams. No gauge swatching. I've made some modifications that you can find on Ravelry. The only regret I have with this sweater is not making the sleeve more faded, more tapered. I followed what the pattern says, but I am so tempted to unravel the sleeves. I I have the same feeling as the project I showed you by Augustine Decay. It's like they pulling and they feel very heavy, and also this one does not have that much positive ease. And I think I just think the sleeves are too wide for the look of the sweater I wanted. So yeah, I might change this. We shall see. It's not pleasant to go back. And it's crazy because people usually with this pattern and the cardigan version are going up in size for the sleeves, and I want to go even more down that the pattern says the smaller size. Yeah, I don't know. It's that different shapes and forms we have of the body. Yeah, wonderful project. It's not a difficult project. I will even dare to say it's a good practice for somebody with less experience in cabling. It's definitely more easier than the one that I talked about before this one, the Billy Cardigan. I don't have that much to say. I love how it holds this yarn. It's very warm. I mean, warm. It needs to be very cold outside. Also, another thing that I would love to have the sleeves much smaller in width is that it is actual looking. It's a little bit uncomfortable under the winter coat. So yeah, that's another reason. But other than that, it is absolutely wonderful. I love it. It's a beautiful project. I truly believe that it's one of her maybe most popular patterns, and I understand why, because it's absolutely gorgeous. Project number 15 of this year. It's the Book Club sweater. Oh my lord, I almost forgot the name. This is the book club sweater by Sari Noblund. I've already talked about this in a previous podcast episode. Um, I have a thread here. I think I need to fix it. Anyway, um, let's see a few details. This is the size. I don't remember if 2 or 3, but I think it's 3 because lately I am on the third size in Sari Norlund's project to have the look that I want. Okay, yeah, size 3. And I've used 2 strands together. One is the Isair Alpaca one, which is the fingering version, and the second one is the Isair Tweed, which is the little brother or sister of um, this one, which is Aran weight. Yeah. Top down, drop shoulder, time consuming project. I'm not gonna lie. It's time consuming until you get used with what's happening inside of the geometrical cable of the sweater. Once you figure out what you need to do, it's easy peasy. I would like to say for me it was like this. I love the look of this sweater. I think it's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's perfect for my dresses. It's one of the reasons that I love. It's raising a little bit in the front because I think I would have need a little bit more shaping because of my bust circumference, but it's not unwearable. It's wonderful. I love the yarn so far, how it holds up. This Isair Tweed, the fingering version, I think it's 70% wool and 30% mohair. So it's a little bit more hairy, more different looking. Sorry for the interruption. My son just woke up and I had to take a break. Okay, let's see. I only have, I think, 5 projects to talk about. Another one is the Hoopy sweater I finished this year. I had to buy the book to work this sweater, so there is no individual pattern. You need to buy the book. I've used Hillesvåg. All the yarns are Hillesvåg. I've made size 2, I think. Let me check. I know I used 4.5 millimeter needles. Let's see. This is the Hoopy sweater light because there is another version. I think it's a Aran or worsted or bulky or something. Size 2, 4.5 millimeter needles. I've used the main yarn, the brown. It is Varde from Hillesvåg, and the contrasting colors are, I think, also Varde. Yeah, Varde, all of them, I think. This is a bottom-up construction color work. The pattern does not have short rows. I wrote all the modifications on my Ravelry. I've added short rows when joining the sleeves with the body in the round, hoping that the front won't rise. And I'm so sorry to tell you that even with that modification, I don't like to wear this sweater. I love the look of the sweater, and I have a skirt that I love to pair with, and now I have a dress. I had a dress in my wardrobe that needs some modifications, a linen dress that goes so well with this. I have more even, not just one. Anyway, I cannot stand to wear this sweater because the front is coming here and I'm pulling all the time the sweater. One of the things that I learned this year about my body and my knitted garments is that round yokes does not work for my shape of body no matter what. It doesn't matter. I've tried it top down. I've tried it um, bottom up. I've tried it with double sets of short rows at the higher of the back before splitting or joining the sleeves with body. Just doesn't work. No matter what I'm doing, this keeps rising, and I simply cannot stand this. This is a wonderful project. I love the feeling of the yarn. I love the colors. I followed exactly the colors from the pictures. It's just not working for me. And I am so sorry. One of the things I want to try next year is to make color work sweaters or cardigan by pieces and to sew them together and to see if this will work for me. I know some people are not bothered by the fact that this is rising up. I don't have nobody in a very small size that I could ask, is this working for you? Maybe it's for the bigger bust that around you doesn't work. Uh, you can imagine how sorry I am about this sweater. I will not gift this yet. I will still try. I block this and I pull this a lot, hoping that the front will stay on place, but it's not happening. It's an easy pattern, but just the shape of the sweater does not work for me. And that's too bad. And I'm very sorry, because it was a lot of work and it's not a cheap project considering that I had to pay also to have access at the pattern. I have to pay almost 40 euros just for the pattern. But it's a risk I had to assume and it's a result I have to live with. So that's that. My next project, it is a project by my favorite knitwear. And it's the sweater number, oh God, 20 and something. Let me check because I never remember. 20. And this is a cable sweater, top down, v-neck. I've made size 1. I've used 5.5 millimeter. There are not a lot of sizes in this pattern. I think there are like 3. This is a very oversized sweater. It is meant to be. So I've made size 1. I have a love-hate relationship with this sweater. I like the look of the sweater, but I don't like my choice of yarns for this project. So I held 2 strands together, both of them from Sandnes-Garn. The worsted one, it is alpaca wool or wool, and the other one is the lace alpaca they have, or alpaca foliathread. I don't like this yarn. This is such a heavy sweater. It has more than 1 kilogram, I think. It's raising the front. It's just drive me crazy. It's losing the shape when wearing it. But once you fold it and you leave it for a couple of days, then it's okay again. I mean, I don't know what this yarn is doing, but it's playing with my patience. It's peeling like crazy. I mean, I don't know if you are able to see these big things, but it's true that I never depilled this, but this began to peel before wearing, before finishing this. Look at this. So I don't know if it is normal. I think on one hand it is, because this yarn to together. This is very soft. Um, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I have a hate love or love hate relationship. Look at this, guys. Look at this. It's looking like I had this sweater for 20 years. Yeah, I like this pattern, and it will be interesting to make it in a different yarn. So who knows, maybe at some point, if I'm running out of inspiration, which I doubt, honestly, maybe I will make this again. Still, I don't want to gift this, because part of the yarn was a gift from a knitting friend that unfortunately we are not in touch anymore. So it's, yeah, something that reminds me of this wonderful person. I'm just keep pulling this because it's, yeah, enormous. um, I think the most positive thing about this sweater, it is that if I have a very cold day at work, I know this will keep me very warm. But it's difficult to wear underneath a winter coat because it's voluminous, it's thick, it's uncomfortable to have under a winter coat. And sometimes I'm wondering why I am doing these thick sweaters if I'm not able to wear them underneath, because it's not like I'm going out in winter in a wool sweater. I'm not. Um, Having the possibility to have my own car, I don't wear the winter coat unless I have to walk a lot. But if I'm stepping out the house and go into my car and get out of my car and go to my workplace, I'm not wearing a winter coat for a couple of meters. It's not a difficult project, but there is a lot happening. I've done modifications. I wrote everything on my Ravelry. Again, I wear this a lot when it's cold, but I'm frustrating when having this on my body because it's heavy, because is losing the shape, and it's annoying the amount of peeling. Although I'm not a person that it's too bothered about a peeling, but this is from another world. The peeling, the amount of peeling. Okay, my last project that I can show you physically is the Christmas, my only Christmas ever sweater, which is a total fail. And I hope to be able to take a picture just for this special episode, because I never worn this. How sad it is. I just, to not use an offended offending word, I will just say I dislike to wear this sweater totally. First of all, because it feels wrong, because the front is rising, although this is a raglan, because the deep depth of the raglan is too much for my body, because at the same time it would have looked nicer on my body with more positive ease. And when I just remember the hours I spent making this project, it makes it no worthing for me. I mean, this didn't worth my time. So I still have to figure out what to do with this sweater because I will not wear this. Maybe I can sell it if somebody will be interested. Um, it's not my type of sweater, that's for sure. And I've used the recommended yarn. I forgot to say this is the Julegenser 2024, the year from Sandnes Garn. The yarn is the recommended Teen Peer Gynt. I've used the same number of needles, 3 millimeter for the main body and 2.5 for the all the one by one ribbing. Top down raglan, a lot of work, a lot of ends to wave in, a lot of 3-row colors in a row, really time consuming, frustrating when doing the sleeves to pair this motif at the underarm that you need to pick up stitches in different colors. That was huge. I would say maybe this is my biggest knitting fail of the year. And I'm not willing to repeat this type of Christmas sweater. I still don't have a Christmas sweater, but I think if I would have to make one again, I will just choose a red, beautiful color and an easy or mindless project to do. Not this type of project. So, and I've made size 3, if you are wondering. I have 2 more projects that I don't have with me anymore. One of them is something that I carried with me from 2024, and it's a cardigan also by Sandnes Garn that I am not able to find in my clothing. I just need to look for it. I hope I didn't throw it by mistake. I hope. It was a cropped one, top down, especially for my dresses. I've used a yarn that is discontinued. They don't produce it anymore by Sandnes Garn. It's called Recycled Tweed, and it had wool and cashmere in it. In a very dark blue color, very pleasant color. A very beautiful yarn to work with and to wear it, very soft. But I don't know what I have done with that. And another project that I gifted this year is another test knit. It is a vest, also by Knitonomy, and it's called the Fresno round neck vest. For this one, I've made size 3, and the yarn I've used is Lee Istex Fialalopi, which is a thinner version of the Letlopi. And I gifted this because I didn't like the look on my body. I mean, I will put a picture here. It's looking better on the picture than in real life. So I gifted this to somebody that is very excited to have it and to wear it. I've made a hat. I've made another test knit that I didn't, I only made a sock. I'm not a sock knitter for the life of me. I can do one sock, but I have problems to finish the second one. So I started the second one. This is a top down, so I've made a cuff and just like this from the leg. The yarn is a new yarn that Hillesvåg launched, I think, last year or a year before, especially for socks. It has nylon in it. I don't remember the name of the yarn. If I remember, I will put it on the screen. And I've made this for my mother because she lives at the countryside and she's a lot of the time out with firewoods and the animals she has on at home. And yeah, and she used this a lot, but I'm not able to finish this, not even for my mother. And it's my size because me and my mother, we have the same measurements at the food. But who knows, maybe until next year I will be able to finish the second sock. I've made a muscle boar hat this year, actually very recently. It's another impulsive cast on because of the cold we had here, and because I'm working at a kindergarten and I am outside a couple of hours every day. I really needed something very, very thick. I've used a hand dyed wool here in Norway, a lamb's wool, together with one strand of knitting for olive mohair. Although I don't use mohair anymore in my knits, I thought for this hat I really, really need something to keep my head warm for a couple of hours, especially when you have -degrees and windy at the same time. I'm ending the year with a tons of projects on my needle. So my goal this year was, again, every year I have this goal to become a monogamous knitter, or at least 2-3 projects at the same time on my needles. It didn't happen. I still have around, I think, 10 projects on my needles, but I'm getting through them. But I will talk about them in my next regular episodes. And this, my friends, was everything I've knit this 2025. I think it is a ridiculous amount of garments I've made this year. But at the same time, I've learned so much about what I like, how I can customize, about colors, about things that I don't like to wear and I won't make anymore, a type of construction, of a technique, or things like that. I feel it was a very hard texture knitting year for me. I've made tons of cables, patterns, and lace, and I really enjoy this challenge of a more difficult project. I would love to next year to be able to knit one of Marie Wallin's cardigans in her yarns, but I need to save money to buy that yarn because and the book because it's really expensive. I don't have acquisitions. My budget is not allowing me to buy any yarns. I have other life plans that I will talk about in my next regular episode. I hope you enjoy this episode. Maybe will inspire you. Maybe you will learn from my mistakes. Maybe my notes on Ravelry will help you. If you have questions about any of these projects, please write a comment below and I will be more than happy to answer you. It was a difficult year. It was an interesting year. I've learned so much in all the aspects of my life, knitting or not knitting related. A struggle mentally, but I'm not alone in this. I'm sure everyone has struggles, but we are here. So I think this is the most important thing. I want you to know that I'm very grateful for each and one of you who come back and see my knitting talk, my longs episodes. I know it's not everybody's cup, but I know some of you like this. I won't make promises of shorter episodes in the future because I need a lot, and That means with every episode, I have a lot to talk about and to share. So this is the main reason why my episodes are so long. But thank you so much for joining me this year too. I want you to know that I think about you, even if I don't know you. I'm thinking about if you are well, if you are healthy, if your family is well, if you are enjoying what are you doing, and I'm hoping you do. And it will be interesting to see what the next year will bring in our lives. Thank you. I'm grateful to have you here. And again, thank you for this year. And I will see you on my next regular episode. And I am wishing you from the bottom of my heart a wonderful end of the year. And happy knitting. Until next time. Bye bye.